The judge already looked annoyed before the hearing even started. He sat high above the courtroom, fingers tapping impatiently against the bench while people settled into their seats. Lawyers shuffled papers. Reporters whispered quietly near the back. And in the center of the room stood a black teenager in a gray hoodie and worn sneakers. 17 years old. Alone. No expensive lawyer. No confidence act. Just calm eyes and a folder tucked under his arm. The judge glanced down at him and smirked. "So," he said loudly, "this is the young man who believes he can challenge the school district?" A few people laughed softly. The teen didn't react. Didn't even blink. That silence seemed to irritate the judge immediately. "You understand this isn't social media, right?" The judge continued. "This is an actual courtroom." More laughter. The prosecutor smiled confidently. The teen stood still, calm, respectful, and somehow, that calmness made the judge push harder. "Young man," he said, leaning forward, "I'm going to ask you a very simple question." The room quieted instantly, because everybody recognized that tone. It wasn't curiosity. It was a trap. The judge folded his hands. "If you're so certain the school violated your rights," he said, "then explain exactly which law was broken." The prosecutor leaned back comfortably, like the case was already over. Several people in the gallery shook their heads slightly, because now, the kid would embarrass himself. At least that's what they thought. The teen nodded once, then slowly opened his folder. "You're referring to Title VI of the Civil Rights Act," he said calmly. The courtroom shifted. Small, but noticeable. The judge's smile faded slightly. The teen continued. "Specifically the section prohibiting discriminatory treatment in federally funded educational programs." Silence. The prosecutor blinked. The teen looked directly at the judge now. "The school suspended me without reviewing the video evidence," he said. "And internal emails show administrators discussing my race before disciplinary action was finalized." Nobody laughed anymore. The judge adjusted in his seat slightly. "You read that online?" he asked. The teen shook his head. "No, sir," he replied calmly. "I obtained the emails through a public records request." That hit the room differently, because now, this wasn't guesswork. This was preparation. The prosecutor stepped forward quickly. "Those emails are being taken out of context." The teen immediately turned toward him. "No," he said quietly. "Actually, I highlighted the full conversation for the court." Then he handed copies forward. The bailiff passed them to the judge, and the moment the judge started reading, everything changed. The confidence disappeared from his face first, then the irritation, then even the arrogance. Because the emails were real, clear, detailed, impossible to explain away. The courtroom became completely silent except for papers turning slowly beneath the judge's hands. One sentence in particular made him stop reading entirely. The teen noticed. So did everyone else. The prosecutor's face tightened, because they all knew exactly what the judge had just seen. A message from a school official that read, "Parents will react differently depending on who the student is." The judge looked up slowly, and for the first time since the hearing began, he actually saw the teenager standing in front of him. Not the hoodie, not the age, not the assumptions. Him. The judge cleared his throat awkwardly. "You prepared all this yourself?" he asked quietly. The teen nodded once. "Yes, Your Honor." The room felt different now, heavier, because suddenly, everyone remembered the jokes, the smirks, the laughter. The judge leaned back slowly, embarrassed now, and the teen still hadn't raised his voice once. Then the teenager said something nobody in that courtroom expected. "I knew you were trying to embarrass me," he said calmly. "That's why I made extra copies." A woman in the gallery covered her mouth. Someone near the back whispered, "Wow." The judge lowered the papers slowly onto the bench, because the trap he laid for that black teen had just closed on himself instead.